Yeah. And when you bring that up, so those short stories that I shared, I actually have 2 short stories related to her parents and how her parents, their origin stories. So many, and so I have asked those questions and stuff like that. So it's funny that you bring that up. But moving forward, I don't know. I think I'm always in I'm definitely character driven when I write. And I think I always write with a James Scott Bell approach where I know where I'm headed. I don't know the ending. So it's all kind of new, fresh, but definitely encounter things that I didn't think I would know about Callie.
Welcome back to Living the Next Chapter, the author podcast. We get to meet amazing authors from around the world. I love the show. I get to meet great people all the time. I have a whole day full of great interviews coming up today, but I'm starting off with the best way possible with Cyndi on the show. We're going to be talking about her journey. I got her website up here. It's beautiful, by the way. We'll have links for you to go check it out. You're going to love this great author and all this great stories for you. Cyndi's on the podcast. Welcome, Cyndi, to Living the Next Chapter. Glad to have you here.
Hi, Dave. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm better now because you're here with me. This is a good start to my day. Thank you for making time for us. I appreciate it.
Well, I love to cheer everybody's day up, especially being a goofball.
Okay. All goofballs allowed. We appreciate that and encourage goofballs at all times. That's good because that fits with my kind of way of approaching life. So we're in good hands today, Cyndi. I love it. Tell everybody, Cyndi, where are you? Where do you live?
I actually live in Ohio, the great city,
Ooh, yes.
the great area of Ohio. I love Ohio. You got the flat areas, you got the hilly areas, and I'm like in the heartland of it all, like Amish country, everything.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's great. I wouldn't be anywhere else, and I've been to Europe and everything. And I've lived in California, Arizona. I mean, Ohio's it.
My wife's family lives in a part of Ontario, Canada, where there's a lot of Amish families. And we've talked to them many times up there where her family lives. Nicest people ever. Like, they're just like so kind. And you wonder, like, how do you survive without all of the technology and stuff? And I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe they're doing something right, in this world of technology and how connected we are. They're just doing their thing. And I'm like, part of me is a little bit jealous of that part of what they do. Right?
I think there's something about the simplicity in that. I don't want to say this. The uninterrupted time, the level of peace that you get.
Yes.
In situations like that,
It's a different perspective. It really makes you pause, right? Yeah. We see the buggies going down the side of the road. My wife loves horses, so we see the horses and everything. And you're just like, in Ontario, Canada, the winter's horrible, but they're out there doing their thing. Doesn't matter, And I'm like, that's amazing. Yeah. Amazing people. So I know they're not listening to this because of technology and everything, but if you do know an Amish person or someone in your community like that, Mennonites and stuff, reach out to them. They're nice people. You just have a conversation with them at the store or something. You'd be like thrilled to talk to these people. They're really nice. And I'm thrilled to have you, Cyndi, here. Come on, let's move over to you now. Let's talk a little bit about your journey as an author. How did all this start for you? What was kind of your origin story as an author?
Oh, origin story. It's always hardest to talk about myself. Truthfully, I just had a bug for writing, but I think most of it stemmed from when I was in school, and I had this desire to write, but then I had struggles, and I had to conquer those challenges before I could actually, go after my dream. But life sometimes gets in the way. You're blessed to have a marriage that's beautiful, and then you get children, and then you take care of in-laws, and so all this kind of stuff, takes a life of its own. And somehow, some way, I was able to carve out space and take classes. I have a great support group of people in a writing guild. And I would take the creative writing classes, take Marjorie Lawson's classes, all these classes that could help me better with my craft, my world building, because I knew I was a writer that wanted to write something where there's a level of escapism. I wanted to write serious stuff that had a moral compass, but yet at the same time, I wanted to write something that people could escape with. So my journey, I guess, in my origin came from my love of legends, myths, lies, history, and my desire, and all of that encompassed together. So, and part of something related to that is we purchased a 200-year-old watermill. Yeah. And it was built in 1816. And it's a rare mill because most mills are comprised of one component, whether it's a sawmill, like a frick sawmill that cut wood, or their grinding mill. This had 5 components to it. I mean, it's impressive. I mean, it's a cider press, sawmill, metal shop, wood shop. I mean, and there's a forge, all of this. And it was just there. And my husband and I bought it for a hobby. And now somebody else owns it. But I anchored my love, my passion into that historical site. And from there, my character Callie grew and morphed into something else, you know. And since then, I write my stories now to have a historical element that's real history, anchored in real history, and everything. That's stuff that inspires me. I mean, that's part of my origin story.
Okay, when you walk into a mill like that and you just kind of stand in that building, do you like look at like how was this thing made? How did they do this back then without the technology we have today? Kind of let's go back to the Amish again. Like, how did they create this building without like all the modern, you know, backhoes and cranes and everything we have today? Like, you ever stand there and go, wow, like, look at this place?
I have an advantage. Mm-hmm. I have a husband who's a millwright. And so when he bought the mill, it was actually Keister Watermill. It's owned by now Western Reserve Land Conservancy. When he purchased that watermill in 2002, I got to see my husband with his father and 2 other guys, Jeff Kinsey. They worked and made an 18-foot overshot wooden water wheel with 56 buckets, 8 rims and everything on each side. Massive. It looks like a huge hamster wheel that could fit, well, 4 or 5 people inside. I mean, it's impressive, very impressive. But I got to see them use technology that was old. And I mean, I can't name the instruments, but we didn't have electricity and we didn't have money to go buy the modern stuff, even though we purchased the mill in 1998, I think it was. But in 2002, when they were building the wheel, we didn't have that technology. So I got firsthand experience watching my husband sit on, this device, whatever it was, and hand crank, and then a drill bit would go down and drill these massive amounts of drill bits because they were pounding in. It was kind of like timber frame kind of approach and stuff. Yeah. And so, no, I got to see that. Now, fast forward to today, like as in like tonight, as in this moment, they're building another water wheel. And the span of time that and the equipment change and how they were able to use what they used back then compared to now, it's like zzz, done. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's just, you know, we only used what we had available back then, you know, to where now we have more. Yeah, and now we're not owners, but my husband's still building the water wheel. But I love history. I love being on the front end of being a steward of history. Mm-hmm. And no, it's fascinating. Boy,
I love history. Yeah, you can go on and on, right? I can see you got more. You got more. Go on.
Well, okay, so every building, whether it's even just a newly built house, has something that's unique to it, okay? Yeah. But this mill, I mean, you've got write-ups in historical places about giant bones found in this area of Ohio. that's like close to this land that this mill was on. You've got stories of rumors of gold and treasure and generals and military coming through this area. Then you've got, I mean, we're talking 1816, right? I mean, then you've got history of Indians, of course, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and this is Ohio. This is rich in history, and it's right here in the our backyard. I mean, and yet people don't like look at it, don't like go to it, don't
Right.
just like realize the uniqueness of it. And I mean, I was talking to somebody in Medina last week, which is in another area of Ohio, and there's a house over there that a man and a woman from Seville were giants. I mean, you could even Google it and look it up, but they have a whole house that was centered around them and stuff that they turned into a museum. Things like that are just fascinating. Absolutely, like for me, interesting. I'm boring. I just write. These people lived history.
Right.
I might have been with my husband a steward of this mill for 22 years. That's it. But, the unique thing that I did with that mill was craft and create a story that's fictitious around that mill. And it's morphed into a lot more because, I mean, I took legends because when we were in 2002, my husband was building the water wheel, he would put down a hammer, turn around, go back and do something else, right? And then he'd come back and that tool would disappear. No joke.
Oh, no.
There's my son, many people can even attest to even having done this and experienced it through the years. And so it was always just a running joke. And my family were not into, a ghost or bad or whatever. We're just like, hey, So I took that moment and created a klepto creature. And so this creature likes to steal things, but he's in my book. And he makes for a very rich source, especially when you ultimately find out in the Therans series that this creature serves a significant purpose in history. I crafted everything within the Therans series to move the story forward in a natural progression, but to also be so rich, so entertaining, and everything. So I don't know. I love history.
Yeah, you got me with that. I love history too, and it sounds like a very interesting coincidence that those tools go missing so often.
Yeah, they would reappear though later.
Yeah, oh, they okay,
yeah. So
it happens to my car keys all the time. So I think it's happening here for me too. I can't find my keys sometimes.
My little mythical creature is up there, right?
Right? Maybe. Yeah. You said something at the beginning, though. You said something about when you first started, you had some struggles to overcome as an author, as a writer. What kind of struggles? Because I have authors listening and they're struggling, and maybe they're going to hear something from you. They're like, "Oh, that's what I'm struggling with right now." Maybe some hope for them as an author. What were you struggling with early on?
Okay, so when I say what I'm going to say, it's not to put anybody down. It's to lift somebody up.
Okay.
I struggled because I had an IEP plan. I was in learning disability classes once third grade started, and they figured out I wasn't reading. I had a teacher that took interest in me and said, "Okay, we're gonna get you through this. Not, we're just gonna pass you on. We're gonna sit and we're gonna get you through this." So I went through learning disability classes, but it really helped me to get further on in my life because I was able to sit back and realize, okay, so this is the issue I have. And then as a kid, as I grew older, I was like, okay, so if I have that problem, how do I help it? So I learned I had dyslexia. Okay. So everybody has a varying degree, and I think there's different kinds. But with my kind, I learned that I couldn't read if I was very stressed out or like I was the center of attention. Or anything like that. And I know in order to write as an author, I'm better to succeed at doing my writing in the morning than at night. Now, I do write at night, but it depends on how refreshed I am. throughout the
Right.
day, and if I have had a relaxing day, because I'm not one of those that's like, oh, like this, but I spend a lot of time in my office. But dyslexia was the biggest thing. But our life, I think, if we could change our perspective about the disability that we have or whatever,
Yeah.
and flip it and make it a positive thing, we're
Right.
better off. I took the time to research like dyslexia, learn about it, learn how to work with it and not against it. And
Yeah.
now I love it. I wouldn't want God to create me any other way than I am, because I have learned that dyslexia is the reason why I can look at something in my head, close my eyes, and write and see things like in a three-dimensional film screen motion.
Wow.
And it's unbelievable, you know. And there's snapshots, but I could see things working, you know. And I don't know. I love it.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue. Some people would say it'd be their kryptonite, but for me, it's not.
I've had another author on in the past, and they have dyslexia as well. They said they didn't see it as a disability; they saw it as a different ability.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm like, I like that. I like that. It's it's where other people might be good at one thing. That author in their context said, I'm really good at something different.
yeah, exactly.
So I use that as my ability, right? And I'm like, I like that perspective. That's good.
Yeah, it's almost like a superpower.
Yeah, yeah. Which, something that would be easier for you is going to be difficult for me,
Yeah.
right? So that's something to celebrate. I like that.
Oh yeah.
Good. And I'm nice to hear a teacher that poured into you and worked with you. And I think if there's teachers listening to this, to hear that kind of perspective as you go into your class this week and work with those students that need that extra attention and help, see the results.
Yeah.
Cyndi's here. It works, right? So pour into those kids.
Oh yeah. And you know what? An interesting fact was that I met my teacher, Delane McGee, in third grade when she took on helping me. And she's always been an inspiration. But later, when I met my husband, and I wasn't married to him yet, my mother-in-law was friends with her.
Oh, wow.
So
Really?
you talk about life circling back around.
Yeah.
And yeah. So it's always keen to be smart, wise, and nice. Because you never know if you're going to meet those people later on. But it was a blessing to have met her, later on in life and stuff like that before I married my husband.
Okay, let's talk about your writing. On your website, I'm seeing young adult, fantasy, romance, legends, myths, and lies. I'm seeing a lot of great stuff here on your website. Talk to me about who you think your ideal reader is for what you're writing so that we can kind of focus our attention on them. We want them to listen for themselves in our conversation and for someone else that's going to love your writings and your books. So who would you say is your ideal reader?
Most people would say that their ideal reader would probably be, since I write young adults.
Yeah.
I want to reach more than just the young adults, and this is the reason why. I go into libraries all the time, and they have closed off rooms that are just for young adults. But 9 times out of 10, I go and I see somebody my age, 30 or whatever, in there. It's open range. There's a book, The Dark Days Pact by Allison Goodman.
Okay.
A lot of people my age love her book. It's not just the kids. Yes, I know I should know my target audience. I do write for young adults, but I like a little bit of, I like to say that I'm open to targeting more than just one age range. I hope that I could reach out to a lot more readers and stuff like that, because I think it's more interesting. And that's why I think I have, by the time you grow with my character in through all 3 books in this trilogy, that you get to see a level of growth in her and more adult things. Of course, I don't write sex, but there are definite adult issues that have to be handled.
Yeah. Did you set out to write the trilogy from the beginning?
I don't know what I set out to do initially at the beginning. I seriously, I one day I was just at the mill. I was goofing around, and I had a thought come to, like an actual like vision or whatever you can call, like a film thing hit my head, and I had a character, and I just started doodling. And then the next day my husband says, go to this writing group, go join some group. Then I show up at this group and they're like, hey, that's kind of cool, but you got to do this, then you got to learn the craft. So fast forward, 14 years later, I've got these 3 books written and 5 short stories written related to the books. And then I'm writing now the college years of this character, same character, Callie. But once I started getting an idea, the more I got to know the fictitious character, Callie, and the more I saw my daughter growing up, because my daughter was a solid inspiration for the antics or the issues that would go play in between Gramps and Callie and stuff like that. I don't know. I just wrote it. It started out as a 1-book dream, and it's worked into a lot more.
To tell us more about Callie, that main character. What do we need to know about this character?
Callie's got her flaws. That's how a great story develops. But Callie's biggest flaw is she doesn't want anybody to get hurt, because she knows for a fact she has suffered significantly with the loss of her parents being brutally murdered. But the downside to that is you can't save everybody, not even from themselves. And then when you're in a world that is soaked in archaeological mystery, where legends and lies actually are true and they breathe their own essence, this character Callie just can't save everybody. And so you walk through and you get to learn Callie's struggles and stuff like that and who she is. And she's actually she's very real. I never painted Callie out to be one day she's going through a difficult time and the next day she's at a ball and she's having fun. I didn't do that. At the same time, I didn't want to anchor the reader into being anchored into Callie's head so much that it's just like you couldn't get out of it. I wanted you to experience and feel, the reader to experience and feel the lows, at the same time cheer for those victory moments too. So
okay, what would you say Callie's greatest strength and greatest flaw is within her character?
I think I gave probably the greatest flaw. That she cares too much. And that could be, your antagonist could take advantage of that.
Right.
Because everybody around her is a threat or is at risk. Yeah. What is Callie's greatest strength? She's got a moral compass.
Okay.
She tries hard to do what is right, and it backfires.
Okay.
And I think that's what makes the story even more interesting.
How much?
She's a goody two shoes. I'll be honest. Not that she's a goody two shoes. Okay. I don't want her to come off that way. No.
Yeah.
I mean, she lies. She does things that she shouldn't do. Like cover her butt and stuff like that.
Yeah. So when we first meet Callie, how old is she in the beginning part of the story?
In the Therans Secrets Beneath Scars, she's 16.
16, okay. So we're going to follow her all the way into college years, you said.
Right? Yes.
Yeah,
high school years are predominantly in the trilogy.
Okay.
And the trilogy is also a dual world trilogy. So you have 2 civilizations within the trilogy, and they are very cohesive together. So I think that's probably one of the biggest strong suits outside how well it's written and the history behind it. Because even in the other books, there's a historical site that I've worked and studied and stuff and written to incorporate in the series to make it that much more richer. I mean, you could come to Worcester, Ohio and sit at the restaurant Callie's. Of course, she's fictitious, and you could go to the restaurant and have pizza where she likes to hang out. Or you could go to the mill the same way with like when I used other countries, Italy, Egypt, that kind of stuff. You could go to some of those historical sites and go there too. So it's kind of, it's kind of unique.
So if somebody's been to or has lived in Ohio, picking up your books, they're going to be like, oh, I know where that is. I know where that place may be, right?
They should, most definitely.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I love the fact I met, her name's Joey. I'll just give her a first name. She was an inspiration. Last week I met her and she was like, boy, if I could influence you to write something about our little town and add it to it. And I'm just like, I think I could fit that in there.
You're taking requests now.
Yes. So I've started Callie's freshman year right now. And I'm not a marketer. I'm not great at marketing. I'm very enthusiastic. I'm very passionate about my book series. And I hope it picks up a lot more readership. But going the indie route has been a struggle because on the traditional route, which I was on, you had somebody that would have been there behind you to do some of the marketing aspects and things that I don't know. So it's definitely a learning curve on all aspects for me. And I'd love to be behind the desk, more writing than the administrative marketing aspect.
Well, you're doing great marketing right now. We get to hear from you. We get to learn about the story.
I'm grateful for your podcast.
Right.
Yes.
So this is a good step.
Oh,
do you do a lot of podcasts as a guest?
I do some. Yeah. I don't know exactly how many I've done. I'd like to say maybe 20, 25.
Yeah.
Maybe, but that's been over like 3 or 4 years, I'd say.
That's good. That's good. That's robust. I think the idea that we can hear from the authors takes away some of the mystery. When you see a book on a shelf or on a website, you're like, I don't know. Is this for me? Who is this for? Will I like it? Will my friend like it if I recommend it? Yeah. But then hearing the author come on and talk like you have about the behind the scenes of the story and our character, we're like, oh, I know who Callie is now. I have an appreciation before I even get the book in my hand. At least I have a starting point, right?
Yes. Yeah, I think it's important. And you guys do a great job at helping give a voice to authors and stuff like that. And it's definitely appreciated.
Yeah, it's fun. We have so many great stories on here, and it's nice to see an author's journey as well. So when I have an author come on, maybe they write their first book. Then a couple of years later, they're like, hey, can I come back? I have a new book. Yeah, come back, because then we get to hear from you and follow your journey and see what you're doing next.
I'll sign up for that.
That's, right? Yeah, so that's why we have Living the Next Chapter is the name. We want to hear what your next chapter is, right? At all times. So that's really great. What do you not know about Callie that what you would find interesting or curious? You created this character, but there must be something. Even your closest friends, you don't know everything about them. Is there something about Callie that you'd be like really interested if you had a chance to sit at that pizza shop together and share a slice? There was a question you'd have for her?
So the question is, what do I not know about Callie?
Yeah, you're curious about her character, who she is, her backstory, any of that.
I think I uncover pieces of her bit by bit.
Yeah.
I know I will never uncover like what would go beyond the bedroom door as a fictitious character. But what don't I know about Callie? I don't know. I think when I write her, I think I will encounter at that time. I'm sure there's going to be something that's going to, like, I'm working on a scene where a flashback's going to happen, not opening up the scene, but to a dangerous moment of when she was there when her parents were murdered. And it's going to relate to the moment, the crisis she's in now. And so I don't know how she's going to handle that one.
Okay.
So, but
interesting.
That's a definite interesting question. Not one that I've been asked either. There
you go. Because the reason I asked that is because it might open the door, and that's actually happened on the show where we asked something similar to that to a guest, and they're like, I got to go write. Like, I need to go write now because, I have never thought of that. The reason I asked that because maybe there's something from her story, like maybe her favorite toy growing up. And what's the significance of that toy? Oh, that came from my grandmother. Mm-hmm. Oh, we haven't talked about your grandmother yet. Mm-hmm. Well, who's the grandmother? Oh, that's my mom's mom. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's talk more about that. And now you're on a different path now. that maybe we haven't talked about for her yet.
Yeah. And
Right.
when you bring that up, so those short stories that I shared, I actually have two short stories related to her parents and how her parents, their origin stories.
Yeah.
So many, and so I have asked those questions and stuff like that. So it's funny that you bring that up. But moving forward, I don't know. I think I'm always in like I'm definitely character driven when I write.
Yeah.
And I think I always write with a James Scott Bell approach where I know where I'm
Okay.
headed. I don't know the ending.
Yeah.
So it's all kind of new, fresh, but definitely encounter things that I didn't think I would know about Callie.
Yeah, I had one author on, and they said they did so much background work on their main character. They had pages and pages and pages. Most of it never went into the book.
Yeah.
But they had to kind of get this view of this character before they started writing the story. And they chased, like they did like the whole family tree, and they did all this background, and this led to this, which led to that. And they had all that information, and then they set it aside, and then they started writing. It's like they knew their character inside and out, right? So they didn't have any surprises as they were writing. And I'm like, that's very interesting.
It is very interesting. I had things down to even the diagrams of the school she went to.
Oh, there you go. Well, yeah, exactly. There you go.
Didn't, yeah, I had the tree written, but I knew when I was writing Callie that I was going to uncover pieces of her as I moved forward. And then it was making sure that I put them and wrote them in what I call my Bible, story Bible, that I fill those pieces in there like, okay, so this one's going to have this power, and then learn that they're going to do with this, and this legend's going to have to affect this area. And especially when you're making sure that all three books are cohesive and you've got two lost civilizations,
right?
You've got to make sure a lot's done. So yes, I agree. There's a lot of back research on your character. And I think the more that you do the back research, it makes so much easier to moving forward. I used to be a pantser, which means that you write by the seat of your pants. And I will never be a outliner, a plotter. A friend of mine, I sat one time with this author friend of mine, and he had everything so plotted out that it was like magnificent, 100 pages easily, to where all he had to do is go in and kind of like fill in the narrative part, and it just expanded to the 300 pages. Whereas I don't have that, but I'm a pantser by design, as I call it. So
So that depth of character for Callie, actually, you, Cyndi, are a great example of this. You started off the conversation talking about your teacher in grade 3, and that later on in life you came across her again.
Yeah.
So if the story was about you, and you're the main character, to know that story of a grade 3 teacher who worked with you and then you met later on in life, that's background information that formed you and brought you to today.
Yeah.
Right? So you kind of have to do that kind of research on your character to have that storyline, because that character might show up later in life and without reference point back to her in grade 3.
Oh yeah.
The story doesn't have as much of a kick when you meet that woman later on in life, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I like that.
Definitely. Oh, and I like how you associated the similarities to both. I mean, I didn't even look at it like that, but yeah, you're right. You're right. I one thing that is happening now that I really like, that brings a sense of realness into the characters, is that even Fourth Wing, the author Rebecca Yarros, she brought in her disability, or I don't think it was a disability, it was something that she had, an illness or something, but that she brought that personal bit into her character's life. And I think that kind of makes a richer character when the character isn't perfect, isn't like starts off as the main person that's like out there to jump in and is pro this, pro that, can conquer this and do this. When you have a character like my character, Callie, she's dyslexic. That is something that is a piece of me that I threw in with a mixture of my daughter and all this kind of stuff to, create this character, Callie, that's taken on a life of her own. I think that just brings so much more realness to the fantasy book that has been written and that readers will read. And I think readers thrive on reading stuff that's more engaging, that's more relevant to their real life, that they could touch and stuff. And then yet it still has the element of the fantasy. And that's what I like about the Therans series. It's like anchored in reality in the aspect of historical realism, or some people would say magical realism, but I say historical realism because you've got it's current modern times, right? But it's like a world hidden in a world, and it just adds that mystery element to it. And I thrive off of writing mystery and stuff.
You seem very proud of your books. When I hear you talk, you seem very proud, which you deserve to be proud.
Yeah, I'm pleased. I'm very. I like to reread the book because I always find something new that, wow, okay, yeah. But then book one might spur me off on another tangent on the college years. But yes, I am very, very grateful and pleased with the book. So
it's good. So for the readers, as they're listening to us today, Cyndi, let's talk about your website, and we're going to have a link to it so people can come and see you as well. But what are we going to see on your website? And then I do have one more question here at the end as we wrap up here, but take us through the website and what can we see? I see a subscribe button on your website. Can you tell us more?
Okay. So, well, the first thing is if it's going to have the title, it's going to have, me at the top. But the biggest thing is when you scroll all the way down, you mentioned at the bottom, there's a link there, Legends, Myths, and Lies newsletter. So I kind of give up-to-date stuff, things that I do in that newsletter. And usually that's the first spot outside my private Facebook group that I will spill the secrets. I mean, and I've got a really nice following, and I'm very grateful for the following. Also, you'll see that I co-podcast with a gentleman from P English Literature, and I am just a fun sidekick. He does all the work. I just am there to draw out the best banter and lift up that author. But as far as the website, I think the thing that I'm very grateful for is the fact that when I was underneath Jonas Saul as my agent, and you could see that, he never discouraged me. He always encouraged me. And so when he was pitching to publishers in Hollywood, I took the time to get endorsements. And I've got a few endorsements, notable authors, and even Teen Magazine. And I'm very thankful for them. I mean, I jokingly put up there endorsed by authors backed by legends. So it's just a fun, I don't know. I'm corny. I might as well just say it. I am really corny.
I love it. I love it. And you got to tell me a little bit about the covers, because when I look at like the trilogy, the beautiful covers for these books, what's the story behind that? Come on.
Okay, so the story behind this book, Callie, is she actually she can see tomorrow. She can see the future, but it always brings danger. Mm-hmm. She doesn't know how to deal with it. So when you think about sight, her eyes, they're
piercing.
Yes, yes. And I wanted them to be real. And I've had some people say that kind of looks like a horror book. No, she has visions. So sight, a seer. Yeah. So that's why her eyes are there. And the significance of it, when you read the book and you see the blue eyes, that's very significant there. And then I went with Mist because Mist just has a very compelling, mystery to it. So that's the big thing. But I would say the big thing about this book is out of the 450 pages, it's like a mythical quest, but with romance. You know, discovering your origins. And that's the emphasis of the book cover. It's her discovering who she is. And that's her. That's Callie. You know, those blue eyes and trying to see and discover who she is, what she is, and how she fits into this world of the Therans. So,
I like it.
Yep.
It's great.
So
it's excellent. I love it, Cyndi. Like I said, the podcast Living the Next Chapter, got to ask, what's coming up down the road for you as an author? What can we look forward to in the future? What's coming up?
Okay. The Therans, Legends Never Die. It comes out May. I have some pressure on me to release it sooner. But I'm building a house and my daughter's getting married. So I'm like, wow. I've got a lot on my plate. So it's already written, but it's as of scheduled now to be released in May of next year. And I might be releasing 2 books next year, or because I have them written, but definitely 1 book next year, and the one after probably shortly thereafter.
Okay.
So book 3, because I'd like the trilogy to be out real soon, because I'm, like I said, I'm writing her freshman year of college. Yeah. So I'd like to keep these coming out. But
nice. So will you keep us in mind and come back?
Are you going to have me back?
I would have you back in a heartbeat, of course. Yes, I'd love to have you back. Think
yes,
about it.
You bet. I'll be back.
Okay, all right, okay. I got nervous there. Yeah.
Don't get too nervous. Don't get too nervous. Seriously. No, I would love, and I'd be honored to come back. If you don't mind a goofball being on your set, I'm definitely.
I love having you here, Cyndi. It's really, really good. Yeah, excellent. Thank you so much, Cyndi, for being on the show. Congratulations on so many great books. We'll have links to everything we've chatted about today, so people could come and follow you and your journey. And I'm encouraging everyone, when you buy Cyndi's books, not if, but when, that you leave a great review for each of the books, so Cyndi can see exactly what resonated with you, what you loved about the story, the character, and your detailed review helps other people fall in love with Cyndi's books as well. So you can really help Cyndi sell more books. Be good with your reviews. Oh,
and I appreciate that. But even if they want to reach out to me on my website, I leave an email there that people can reach out to me. So I'm easily approachable.
And all your socials are on your website too, so we can come follow you there as well. There's lots of great information on your site.
So thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. So.
If you want to see those gorgeous blue eyes for Callie on the cover of the book, go check out the book cover as well on Cyndi's website. Cyndi, thank you so much for being on the show.
And thank you. And they could check out the new book trailer that I created. I hope I did that right.
Ooh, all right. Lots of stuff to see. That's great. Thank you, Cyndi, so much.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate your time and all your effort.
Hey, thank you so much again for pressing play. As you've heard, great guests on the show. And one thing you didn't hear in this conversation is what? What did you not hear? Think about it for a second. That's right. Not a single solitary commercial for a mattress or a supplement or a whatever you call it. No. Why? Because we don't want to break up the conversation with commercials. So the fact that you're still here means that you are a fan of the show, I'm assuming. So if you want to help to keep the podcast going and to make me feel really happy, all I really care about is coffee, okay? I just got to be honest. I love coffee. I'm drinking one right now. It's starting to get cold. I need to warm it up. Helping us with our Buy Me a Coffee link over at livingthenextchapter.com and also in the show notes helps kind of keep the lights on around here. Remember, I'm doing this for free. I'm paying for everything. So I would love to have a little coffee donation, even $5 kind of fills up my cup. And I would love to enjoy a coffee from you. So if you're interested, again, thank you for listening. But you can use our Buy Me a Coffee link and fill up the cup. Thanks for being here.